Okay folks, got another RGMT watch for you guys today, and this is one of their newest releases, and this is called the Defender. Now, RGMT is a brand that I will tell you that usually when like Nubaeo comes out with a watch, I tend to almost want every single release by Nubaeo. RGMT does make watches that I'm into, and the ones where I'm like, it doesn't do much for me. Full disclosure, this one here, it's a very basic watch. If this watch was done in the all green or black, it really wouldn't do much for me at all. But this is kind of a unique variation of this watch. And when, every watch, Dartmouth is part of, Dartmouth is the kind of the parent company over brands like Nubaeo, RGMT, Cadola, and a whole bunch of other ones that I always review on this channel. Now, they sent me a list, I don't know, last month with the newest seed watches, we'll call them, for this month. And this was on it, and I just, a lot of times when I look at the different color variations, when you have a lot of watches like me, it does get hard to get excited about a release, right? And so I chose this one here, and this is baby blue, because I do like baby blue and sky blues, and sometimes a watch will, I guess, grab my attention a little more if it's in a color that I don't necessarily have, and I don't have an all baby blue watch. Now, this watch does kind of remind me of the Omega, what was their plastic watch that came out with, their Swatch watch collaboration. Again, doesn't look anything like that. Well, I shouldn't say it. It's not meant to look like that is what I'm trying to say. So I definitely, when I got in the mail, I thought it was just stainless steel when I chose this one because they sent me a couple small pictures, and I just basically chose the watch based on the color I liked. But I'm actually more excited about this watch now because it is totally unique. I don't have anything like this in my collection. And the watch is not stainless steel. It's actually a forged carbon, which I did not realize that when I chose this watch. Now, it is interesting because when I look at the other color variations, I think they need to do a little bit of a better job in kind of explaining this, although I guess I'm kind of guilty for not really reading it. But some of the pictures here, if you were to just look at them quick, you wouldn't realize that it's done in a forged carbon. Now, with this particular color, if you get any of their variations with the black forged carbon, it's very noticeable. You can see the different kind of layers in the carbon. I'm not sure why in the lighter colors, which I believe the red one will come on a white forged carbon case. The green comes on, looks like a white as well. And this is baby blue. Now, I don't know if this is just this particular one or if this is just the color of the forged carbon, and maybe it looks the exact same on the other ones. I just don't know. But at least in this case, for what I'm seeing in front of me, we have this very, very light case. And I might just be, it's really hard to tell. It might just be kind of, how white kind of reflects other colors. This might just be a white case. So when I look at it, not under there's a window right here. So when I look at it right here, I'm like, oh yeah, that's baby blue. But if I were to just kind of pull the baby blue strap aside and look at this directly under bright light coming in, I think this is just a white forged carbon case. Now, moving forward with this, would I have chose, after seeing this in person, would I have chose this color? I don't know, because the black, you really see the forged carbon. When you look at this just looks like just a plain old basic, plastic watch basically. So now that doesn't mean I'm not trying to downplay the watch, because I think it is pretty cool that it is forged carbon. But what I don't understand is why when you look at the black version, you can clearly see the pattern. How my Spinnaker watch done in forged carbon. I showed you folks that one in the past, and that one there, it's very noticeable, right? With this, it's just check it out. It just looks like a white case, right? If I didn't tell you that this was forged carbon, you would just think that this might have been some sort of plating technique. So I do think the white case is a little boring compared to the other ones. And why the white doesn't have this texture, this pattern, because they're both forged carbon, I don't really understand why. And so I'm always skeptical of watches that are companies claim are forged carbon, because, and I'm going to do something here. Normally I would never, I don't like calling out brands, but I do want to check one thing here. I'm going to pop the strap off for a second here, and I just want to see, wasn't planning on doing this, but okay. What I'm looking for on the inside of the lugs is to see if the inside of that is stainless steel underneath it. Because I know there are companies out there, I've seen them in the past, where they'll call it forged carbon, and they're really just, they'll when you read it quick, it'll say like forged carbon like case, right? And so you don't realize that little like in there, it kind of throws you off. If you don't really break down what you're reading, you read too quick. And I get it, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I get excited about watch, be like, oh, forged carbon. And it's like, no, it's actually a coating. But for what I can tell on this appears to be, I'm going to try to scratch it a little bit here. For what I can tell, this, when you look at the inside, you probably can't see this, but when you look at the inside of the lugs on this here, if this was not forged carbon, I would think that you would see stainless steel in this where they drilled the lug in that, right? So I'm just not seeing that. It appears to be, it does appear to be a forged carbon case. I just want to, yeah. So I just tried to scratch it. It doesn't scratch stainless steel underneath it. That's nice. So that gives me a little bit more confidence, kind of in the uniqueness of this particular release. But again, I don't know. It almost looks like how gosh, what is it? Almost like a ceramic watch would look without sort of that high kind of polish. A very lightweight watch for you folks who are like, oh, you know, watch is too heavy. And it's like a 40mm watch. If you're looking for something very lightweight, then this is fantastic. I think this, you know, I think would look pretty cool on a white strap. But what is interesting about the case is that this watch almost takes on the color of the band, right? When you look at this, like, I'm sure you can see it. I don't know how, well, it may not, you may think it's like, oh, it's white Phatkat just because I told you that. But again, when I first look at this, to me, it looks like it's all baby blue. If you were to put this on a white strap, I think it would look like an all white watch with a baby blue face. But again, put all this aside, it is an interesting watch. And they're only limited edition to 50 units. So there's not a lot of, when I think of a lot of the watches that are forged carbon out there, and just, let me just, while I got you folks here, let's just take a look at what is available forged carbon watch. Just by Googling this and see if anybody makes anything. And what I want to do is just see what the price point is on these. So if you want to go with like brands that you can find on, you know, AliExpress and stuff, like Paul Rich does their own thing too. You know, you can definitely get forged carbon watches in sort of a comparable price. Original Grain has one, which is pretty unique looking, but it's not, that's just carbon fiber. That just kind of popped up. Let's see what else we got here. Usually when you're looking at forged carbon watches, you're approaching like that $1,000 price point, like Squale. So I think the price on this, you know, $420, that's not too bad for a forged carbon watch. Again, I just think it would look cooler if this carbon was, and maybe there's a reason for you folks who are, you know more about what this than I do. Drop a comment. You know, why is the black version so much cooler to look at, where you can actually see the pattern in this, whereas this just looks like a white porcelain watch. Still very cool, still very unique, but, you know, I think it just doesn't, I think one variation they should have done on this watch, and again, I don't mean to be, I'm not cutting the watch apart, but the black version's pretty cool, but then they did just a stainless steel bezel. I would like to have seen the black just done in a full tactical black. I think would have been pretty cool. And I don't know why companies don't just come out, Dartmouth, RGMT, come out with a forged carbon watch on a forged carbon bracelet. Like, that's really going to kick it, you know, I think really step up. What do the kids say? Level up. I think that, you know, to me is a lot more unique than just having a forged carbon case, because you're paying a premium here for a watch that is pretty basic, which does kind of look like a larger Swatch watch, right? Nothing wrong with that, but paying $420 for a watch, you're getting up there in price. And at least for me, and this is subjective, but at least for me personally, when I see a watch that's in the 400 and up, I kind of want to see something a little more unique, right? Again, the color is beautiful on this, very summery, very light, very lightweight watch, and the lume on this is pretty cool. Like, they actually do something to the carbon where this does lume, like the whole face and of course the case. But how often do you really, you know, that's kind of cool with shiny UV light on it, but how often do you really, you know, look at that, right? So again, just my 2 cents, that's all. Or let me go back to the blue. So this one here is, they call it the Luminous Recon. It says here, designed for endurance and built for mission-grade performance. The Defender pushes boundaries with a full forged carbon case at 43 millimeter, delivering extreme lightness and formidable strength in one. Powered by the Japanese automatic. They don't say which one. It's probably an NH35. Why they don't list that? Oh, there it is. They listed it below. 41-hour power reserve, TMI NH35, 300 meters of water resistance, and we have a durable sapphire lens. 43 millimeters, again, in case diameter, 30 ATMs in, just gotta spit this at you real quick here, in water resistance, and 13.3 millimeters in case thickness, 22 millimeter lug to lug, so you can very easily find many unique straps. If you are a Nubeo fan or a RGMT fan already, you probably have a few straps. I'm sure I have a white strap I can slap on this for, you know, different aesthetics, but it's a pretty cool watch. I mean, it is unique, and you know, I like when, you know, when you get so many watches, it's hard to get excited. It really is, you know, right? So it's nice to see them kind of doing things that are a little more outside the box. And with this watch, what do I picture me wearing this with? Nice baby blue dress shirt, maybe. You know, it's simple, it's clean, it's lightweight. It's like you don't even have it on the wrist. Speaking of, let's throw it on the wrist, see what it looks like. And again, you don't have to wear a dress shirt with it. I mean, it's pretty nice, you know. I mean, I think I chose the best color because this is, when I think of the watch world, this is, I think, is the most unique watch. I have not to date owned a full baby blue watch like this. So in the white case, yeah, it is white, but it definitely takes on the kind of the color of the baby blue. Now, it is to be noted too, like this is going to get dirty, like already. I can see it smudging, and because this is not like a gloss finish, like you will have to kind of clean that, right? I'm not sure what you'd use, but it's probably pretty durable. You can, you know, I wouldn't take like, you know, Brillo pad to it, but you know, it's not gonna fall apart. I actually dig it. You know, actually throwing it on the wrist, I'm a little bit a little more taken back from it. It's very weird. It's almost like feeling like you're wearing nothing. Like it's kind of strange, actually. And I'm not really one to get, you know, I don't really worry about comfort too much. I'm more about the aesthetics, the look, you know. But I gotta tell you, I kind of dig it. So who's gonna buy it, right? Maybe baby blue's not your thing, right? You know, if you want a lightweight, good spec monster, as I like to call them, as we all call them in the watch world, watch, you know, you're getting NH35 movement, you're getting sapphire crystal, you're getting good quality materials, silicone strap, stainless steel buckle. I would like to have seen them do the buckle in the forged carbon as well. I really don't like when companies come out with these unique materials and watches and then don't take that all the way through the watch. Again, I can kind of get away with the bezel, but even the bezel, I would like to have seen them do, you know, maybe a ceramic bezel, but you know, I don't know. It's just a personal thing. It doesn't really make me dislike the watch or anything. And I think, you know, having the bezel on there allows them to get away with having that buckle because it you know, does kind of blend in. But I think it would have been much cooler to have this watch with a forged carbon bezel as well, and then a forged carbon buckle. But again, these are very small. They're not even really gripes. They're just my own 2 cents, right? Pretty cool, folks. All right, so price on this, again, $420. It's comparable to what you're going to get when you look into that world of forged carbon watches. Will this go cheaper? Not sure. It is a new release. It depends on how they sell. Generally, what I found with all brand watches is that if it's something that sells at their price point they come in at, then you're not going to see the price drop. But if it's something that they, you know, put on for sale $420 and they're not moving them, you know, name of the game is selling watches. So if they're not moving them, you might see them go on sale. I am going to put a coupon code in the description and my link. Do try that. You might, it is kind of random on whether it works or not. It really comes down to what sale they're having. But I do find that RGMT and Nubeo, they do their 50% off aggressive sales. You might see this drop in price. But remember, like with anything, especially when it comes to watches that are limited edition, sometimes you might see this and you might fall in love with this watch. You might say, hey, I'm going to wait till it goes on sale. 50 units, that's not a lot. You might wait a week and these might sell out. So, you know, if you buy it for $420 and then it goes on sale, yeah, I wouldn't say you overpaid. You bought it at a time where you guaranteed ownership of the watch. So just kind of, if you go into buying a watch with that mindset, as long as you're not paying, you know, and I like what they're doing here too. It is to be noted, normally, and they might have listened to me on this. I'm pretty surprised. Normally they do the big MSRP thing too. Invicta is the worst at it. We all know that. But, you know, typically I expect to see an MSRP on this watch, you know, they scratch it out, of, you know, $900. And they don't have that on here. They have the watch at an MSRP of $590 scratched out on sale for $420. I like that. I hope that that's something they're going to start to carry across brands. We don't want to see, we all see what Invicta did to themselves by having this big, crazy home shopping network, overinflated MSRP. Are they great watches? Absolutely. Are they all great? No. There's Invictas I wouldn't buy. Can I say that there are RGMTs and Nubail watches that are lower quality? I can't say that about these brands, but one thing that cheapens like brands like Invicta is the huge MSRP, and then people look at that and be like, oh, I'm getting this, like this watch here, right? My birthday gift coming up. My mom and dad got me. This is my favorite watch in my collection right now, and I don't think that's going to change. I love it, which is surprising with all the watches I have. That a Grand Diver is the watch that became the favorite watch. It's really because of the stones on it. But my point is, this was $140. Right now, $350 because they're short on demand. They're short on supply. Probably won't see it go on sale again. But like the MSRP is like $1,000. So you're not getting a $1,000 watch. You're getting a $140 watch, you know, or a $350 watch. At the end of the day, focus on what kind of materials, quality of materials, movement, and crystal. Those are really your big your big check boxes, I like to call them, on what you get for your money in terms of quality. If you have 360, and this is not the case because here we have a forged carbon watch, but normally quality material, whether it be forged carbon, brass, you know, whatever it is made of, they're all made of metal for the most part. Or, you know, you have other brands doing different stuff like this, right? You just kind of take each watch as it comes. But typically, 316 stainless steel, good quality automatic movement, Miyota, NH series, ETAs, Valjus, whatever, Solitas, and then of course, you know, your crystal. And for me, I've said it many times in every video, for me, sapphire is meaningless. I've never scratched a non-sapphire crystal. It brings nothing to my everyday use, but if it has it, great, right? So, and if it is something that you are concerned with, great. But remember, if you were looking at this watch and you were saying, I love it, it doesn't have sapphire, I would not let that be a reason not to buy it, but good thing it does. So, and really, the difference in price, really, companies just should use sapphire now. There really is no, even Invicta for that matter, like there's really no, I understand they have their flame fusion, which is great, but you know, how much are you saving? It's really more, it's a good crystal, don't get me wrong, but is it better than sapphire? No. Is it just as good for my everyday wear? Absolutely. But it's not like when you buy an Invicta watch that has flame fusion that they have to give you flame fusion as opposed to sapphire because they're really giving you an amazing, like a cheaper price. Like they could afford to charge $10 more a watch, whatever. It's not going to be that much more because we see watches coming in the price point of $130 on AliExpress with sapphire. So just give people sapphire. You know, just at this point, just give sapphire. Unless you got like really affordable entry-level watches, there's no excuse not to use it at this point. But again, for me, if it doesn't have it, I don't really give a shit. But anyway, a couple more wrist shots for you guys. 7-inch wrist, 5'8", 180 pounds. This is what it looks like on me. Now, you know, wear what you like, of course, but typically, when I wear a watch, right, that's a color like this, that's a different than stainless steel or gold, typically I would match this up with like my shirt, right? So I would probably want to, you know, it still looks fine like this, but, and I'm not trying to tell grown men how to dress for what makes you happy. But for me, part of the fun in having a variety of watches in my collection is being able to kind of accessorize, right? You know, that's how I've always been. I like to do that. I have a pair of baby blue lugs that match this perfectly. Not really my style anymore, but you kind of see where I'm going with this. Like, nice baby blue shirt would look great with this watch. So again, do that, don't do that, I don't give a fuck. Buy the watch though, you'll like it. So links are in the description. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and take care.